Ubisoft's long-anticipated open-world pirate game is set to release in a day, and I want to talk about what you need to know before getting Skull and Bones. I was fortunate enough to be flown out to Sydney to launch Skull and Bones with the developers and play all of the betas that have led up to the final release, so everything that I mention in this video will be spoken about with extensive gameplay knowledge and an idea of how the game is meant to play. With that being said, let's get into the video. First up on the list, it's important to note, the game is nothing like Sea of Thieves. I see articles in a lot of my community as well try and compare this game to Sea of Thieves, but that's not really a fair statement at all, considering they are two completely different types of games, with the only drawing line between the two games is the fact that they're both pirate themed and open world. Saying Sea of Thieves and Skull and Bones are alike is like saying Call of Duty and Battlefield is the same game. Sure, they're both FPSs, sure they're both multiplayer, but they're two completely different styles of games, and they have their pros and cons respectively. To me, I'm happy that I can play both games and get two different experiences so I don't feel burnt out from the whole pirate theme by the time I finish playing either of them. This goes on to point number 2. With Skull and Bones, although you are a pirate, when you are out on the seas, which is the majority of the game, you play as the ship, you don't play as the pirate. Meaning looting different forts, attacking different enemies, and doing different quests will center you as the ship as a whole, not as a character on the ship. Meaning the playstyle will differ as you go through different levels, get different ships, and of course, have different weapons. Next on the list is expect Skull and Bones to feel like an MMO. Although there's been no real branding of the game being an MMO, it's very similar to that MMO atmosphere. You're in an open world, you have persistent leveling, there's a heavy social integration within the game, and the game really sucks you in and draws you into the atmosphere that is Skull and Bones and the whole piracy life of the early days. The next point, resource gathering and item leveling, is crucial. You'll find extreme difficulty if you don't go around getting supplies to make new boats, items, or of course things like repair kits, and find yourself in an extremely high area with an underkitted ship and you'll just have no fun whatsoever continuously sinking and not being able to achieve everything. Although you don't need to go out of your way to exclusively resource and level, if you do take the conscious mind of doing that while playing through the story, you won't find any issues, but of course it never hurts just leveling on the side if you got a bit of free time. Next on the list, Skull and Bones will have follow-up content. Although there's no exact details that we can share at the current moment, but like any other multiplayer game, when the game releases, it will not be its final form. The next point, in-game content isn't just locked to the story. From emergent threats to different bosses to even fortress raids, there are many different things you can do. With the inclusion of all of these things, you'll also find a healthy amount of missions from every single faction you find in the Skull and Bones world. The main story that you choose to go down isn't where the game stops, it's just an introduction to how the game is meant to be played. Next on the list, you can edit your character at any time. So if you do at any point not like the character that you created at the start of the game, that can be changed. Don't worry about it, you don't have to spend too much time on it. It's all okay. And the final point of the video is the game is not perfect. But then again, what game is perfect? Of course, Skull and Bones has its flaws, but it also has a lot of highlights in many different areas. Although the combat can feel a little bit repetitive at times, and the leveling can be tedious if it's not something you're into, the game really shines with its social interactions, frequency of many things you can do, and the ability to just get lost and explore an open world, which really is a skill that has been lost in games for a long time now. Aesthetically, the game is absolutely perfect. It's a world that you can get lost in and almost forget you're playing a game. Everything about it is amazing, and everywhere you go, there's something new to see, something new to do, and something new that just takes you back and makes you think, wow, this really is impressive. But with that being said, they are the things that I think you need to know before buying, playing, or looking at getting into Skull and Bones. If there's anything I've missed and you want to mention, let me know down in the comment section. Let's have a go. Let's talk about things. Let's get some discussion within the community. That's always a great thing. With that being said, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I'm going to see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.